whether you're representing state agents or whether you're representing the bereaved family, it's a totally different skill set that you bring to an inquest. So, for instance, you need to have empathy, you need to have understanding. You can't the and at times even I fall foul of this, right? So I will be doing a cross-examination of a police officer or police witnesses who are accused of killing someone. Now, sometimes that's a very easy task for me because there's a lot of sympathy for the deceased, and particularly where the state agents have really let the police force down in relation to what they were doing or what they should have been doing in terms of following their own protocols, particularly so on restraint cases where they've restrained somebody and the person has died under restraint. But it's very different though, where if you're doing a case whereby the individual who's died is considered to be something of a bad sort. Maybe they were in the middle of a crime and they were shot. And you know that the jury are going to have a great deal of sympathy with the police who were put into a very difficult situation. Maybe it was a last minute decision that they had to call and they shot somebody dead. And you're nevertheless representing the bereaved's family. You have to handle the sensitivities of that situation very carefully, because you could very much lose your jury if you go in too hard. And in fact, in recent times, I was doing a case and I think I may have gone in too hard and lost a jury because my cross-examination of police witnesses may have been too robust and I called it wrong. And, if you lose a jury, you lose a jury. There's very little you can do to gain your credibility to get that jury back. You'd hope that they're not dealing with it on the personalities of the advocates, that they're dealing with it on the evidence, which is what they should be doing. But hey, we live in the real world.
Yeah.
Judges, jurors, we are all influenced by the advocates who appear in front of us, and to deny that is to deny reality. And all good advocates know how you present. There's a real risk if you're a bit over the top of losing your court, whether that be a judges, tribunal, or jury. So the skill set at an inquest is very different. A lot of empathy. It's not a good look to go in and cross-examine the widow of the bereaved to tears.
Yeah.
Can I give one example that really illustrates the point? There's a very infamous case involving the death of two children, Bobby and Christy Shepherd, who died on a Thomas Cook. Thomas Cook is a big travel company. It was the biggest travel company in Europe and perhaps the second biggest in the world. These two young kids, they were 4 and 6, I believe, 4 and 5, something like that, little mites. They had gone on holiday to Corfu with their father and his partner and died in a bungalow because there was a faulty boiler which gave off carbon monoxide emissions. And their bodies were brought back to the UK and there was an inquest into their death. And the CEO of Thomas Cook, a gentleman known as Mr. Frankhausen, at the time we're doing this, Thomas Cook had gone bankrupt and is no more. But at the time, I think this was 2016. Thomas Cook was, still very strong in terms of their market share value. And I was cross-examining Mr. Frankhauser, the CEO, in relation to the death of these two children. And I said to him, do you have kids yourself? Yes, I do. I said, these two children died on one of your holidays. Now, I fully appreciate you aren't personally responsible for this, but your company is. Would you like to take this opportunity, look my clients in the eye, and apologize for their loss? Mr. Thomas, I have nothing to apologize for.
Ooh.
This response. At that moment in time, the jury, every member of the jury hated Thomas Cook and everything it stood for.
Mm.
They lost that jury. That jury returned an unlawful killing verdict and held that company responsible for gross negligence, manslaughter of the death of those two children. That weekend, Thomas Cook's share price plummeted. And that is because, they lost the jury, losing the court. And that's a prime example of that.